The reason Bungie has such a passionate and loyal community I feel can largely be boiled down to one main reason, something 343 is only starting to really get right. This video is not meant to dog on 343, it's just something I noticed recently. First of all, we need to take a look at Destiny. When I finished playing the most recent DLC, the Witch Queen, my first thought was, man, that was really good. But I realized that it wasn't just a great experience because it was epic or had great reveals, both of which it did, but because it did what Bungie has done best since Halo Combat Evolved. Destiny, along with every other game Bungie has made, is simply brimming with personality. This sounds abstract, but I mean something specific when I say that. Bungie builds incredible worlds with epic moments and gameplay, however, for every awe-inspiring or badass moment, there's something just kinda goofy. Let's look at the original Halo games. These are some of the coolest games I've ever played that really make you feel like the badass Master Chief. Though this badassery is occasionally offset by a comedic line from a grunt, Marine, or even Sergeant Johnson.
Say what?
The original trilogy is also packed with stupid, fun little Easter eggs that make you just stop and go, what the fuck? You're probably not rolling on the floor laughing, but it's these little comedic and sometimes wacky touches that makes Bungie's games so unique and memorable. It's the kind of thing where you could look back with your friends and say, hey, remember when we found those weird monkeys on the first mission of Halo 3? We'll talk more about Destiny and Halo Infinite in a minute, but now let's look at Halo 4 and 5. Let me just say I like these games, by the way, so this is not coming from a place of hate. Halo 4 and 5, like many others have pointed out, just feel a bit generic. It's like the games had lost that bit of light-hearted balance that Bungie was so good at. I can't remember a single zany Easter egg from either of these games, and for some games that isn't necessarily a bad thing, though with Halo, I would definitely say it is. Let's take a closer look at Destiny's The Witch Queen expansion. This story has some huge ramifications that change the landscape of the game's lore, however, this didn't stop Bungie from putting some ridiculous stuff in here, and I mean that in a good way. Hive ghosts are introduced as enemies, however, we end up befriending one. His name is Finch. Finch just sorta decides he wants to be on our side and doesn't revive the Hive acolyte he chose. It just sorta sits behind him at his eternal mercy as he refuses to revive it. His sub-name is even a nice touch, the Conscientious Objector. The bounties he gives you will sometimes have silly names too, like a perfectly normal request. This doesn't stop at Finch, there's a whole quest line revolving around the Awoken Queen and a very important alien worm. Apparently these two were just going on some interstellar adventure while you were off playing the campaign. At one point you must carry the worm through combat while it demands you keep it safe.
Precious cargo.
All of this for the worm's host to ultimately end up being a grenade launcher that you keep and you can use it whenever you want. It's so dumb, but that makes it memorable. It's a lot like the Borderlands games, although they tend to lean much further to the comedic side of things, but again, those games are brimming with personality because of it. Now, Halo Infinite, I would say, much like other aspects of the game, is starting to reclaim the personality of its own. The grunts are back to their old quippy selves. By the way, go watch Late Night Gaming's video on the evolution of the grunts, it's amazing. And even some of the other units have some fun dialogue from time to time when they kill you, including the Marines. There's also that bit at the beginning with Master Chief hacking a ship.
It's locked down. Requires a hack.
Okay. And you can do that?
No.
In terms of Easter eggs, some plushes can be found around the ring, as well as a big burger for some reason. So Halo Infinite is definitely doing things much better in this department. Ultimately, the personality and heart of Bungie's games is what allows us to see them as more than just a large studio-created FPS game. Bungie also does an amazing job communicating with everyone via their twabs, or This Week at Bungie, something I think every major studio could take notes on. Anyway, that'll do it for today. What do you think? Are these games' personality what makes them memorable? If you made it to the end, I truly appreciate that. Thanks so much for hanging out, and goodbye.